What's something Gen Z does that older generations just don't get? I'm a college professor, and a bunch of my Gen Z students are friends or even roommates. But when they enter our seminar room, they don't greet or talk to each other at all, just sit down and stare at their phones until class starts. Then, once the structured part begins, they'll have a discussion. Haha, my students are the same. I've been teaching long enough to remember needing to shush the class before we could begin, but now it's completely silent as they stare at their phones. Friend who teaches high school tells me their recent cell phone ban has made a world of difference. Her students talk to each other much more now. They are more sociable in general. Yeah, I'm a millennial who tried going back to school a few years ago, taking first-year engineering courses plus some electives. I was kind of flabbergasted by the stares of get for just trying to chat with the person next to me before class started. COVID really did a number on those kids. Phones have enabled people to not be uncomfortable for any period of time. Anytime we are alone with our thoughts, we fidget and pull out our phones. When was the last time you sat in the waiting room or similar and just sat there without any digital stimulation? It's sad, but it's the world we live in now. I do try to make the effort to not always pull out my phone every time and try to just bask in the uncomfortableness and build up patience and mindfulness and just be with my thoughts. It's difficult, and you'll be lying if you don't think 95% of us are guilty of it. It's so weird. I was helping another instructor with the projector, and even the students who knew each other and were in the same program and know me, since I'm the program creator, were just staring into nothing. Scroll TikTok at the movie theater. I noticed recently the messaging at movies to put phones and smartwatches away was really intense, like sirens wailing before visual and audio announcements. This seemed a bit OTT until I realized that it's so when they come and tell you, if we have to ask you to put the phone away again, you're out, which I counted them doing with 4 distinct people, 2 of whom were told to leave, that there was no way to claim you weren't told. I witnessed this in person, and it was wild. It was the last Spider-Man movie, It's Spider-Man. And I was surrounded by teenagers. The boys in the row ahead of me were all looking at their phones and showing each other reels for the entire movie. The girls behind us were taking selfies and talking the whole time. None of them were watching the movie. When I was their age, I went to the theater with my friends to see the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, and we were all so excited. We sat in the theater after the credits rolled and watched that Hero music video, and it was such an experience. Going to the movies was fun when I was a teenager. We actually liked watching the movie and still enjoyed talking with each other and hanging out after the movie was over. It was like the teenagers in my theater just paid for tickets to hang out together and ignored the movie completely. Somewhat related, I also find this soul-crushing as a teacher. I still remember the one time at 16 years old I got caught in the computer lab playing a flash game. It is still mortifying to me that I was seen doing that. It was the one and only time I played a game during a lesson during my entire education. Now I teach in a university. 18-22-year-old students, 20 out of 25 students in a class are texting, on Instagram and TikTok, playing games, watching YouTube videos. A large number of them have earbuds in. I've had students in the front row clothes shopping on a huge tablet. The other day, I sent a girl out because she was watching a TV series on her tablet. When I was at school, if I ever chatted, I whispered at the back so I wouldn't get caught. Now I have students sitting in the middle of the class playing League of Legends with the sound on, or watching a video on YouTube, and speaking at full volume as if they were in a cafe. When I go over to do the whole "I've caught you" thing that would have had me painfully embarrassed as a kid, they look at me and tell me the YouTuber they follow just uploaded something, and they won't wait until the end of the class to watch it. Students sleep in class. When I ask them to explain themselves, they say they couldn't sleep the night before. When I ask them why, they say they were watching reels and couldn't stop until 4 a.m. And because of all this, I've gained a reputation as the angry teacher, because I tell them to put their devices away and get stern with them the 3rd time they take them out again. But the students are the ones who get angry at me when I repeat well over 10 times every day over 8 weeks that this kind of behavior is unacceptable in a classroom. I'm Gen Z and I don't get it either. Why buy a movie ticket if you're going to be on your phone the whole time? During the commercials and maybe the previews, sure, but once that studio logo appears, you put that shit away. This is why I can't go to the movies anymore, and it's genuinely heartbreaking. No matter what time I go or what day, there's always a group of teenagers scrolling on their phone or talking. You hate on millennials but play our music in the clubs they attend but don't dance at. Yep, standing around a sensory overload factory sober, while literally listening to Move BTCH by Ludacris. Why don't they move? Why don't they move BTCH? Loudly crying face. Smartphone cameras, and being afraid they'll be posted to someone's sock'em probably. So essentially, shorties just show up in their apple-bottom jeans and boots with the fur, but then proceed to not get low. What is this world coming to? I work at one and this is insanely accurate. It's a faux d'uop now, not a place to let loose. But that would be because clubs now are more about clout than about music. My BF and I went out to an event at a club we've never been to, which ended up full of Gen Z people. 90% of the femmes were in t-shirts and jeans or maxi skirts or prairie dresses. All the guys were in jeans and t-shirts. I think I saw maybe 2 couples kissing throughout the night, saw barely any people dancing on each other. Most of the crowd appeared sober even at 1 a.m. There was a queue of people waiting in an organized line to get to the bar, perpendicular to and a few feet away from the bar, like how you would line up at the DMV. The bartenders looked visibly confused. I honestly think my proctored high school dances were more rowdy. In contrast, we went to another show with an older crowd and the floor smelled like poppers. Multiple people in the crowd passed out. Lots of fun outfits, etc. Like why are we partying harder in our 30s than they are in their 20s? It's sad. It's like a middle school dance from 1999. Generally speaking, communication skills are below par. I have almost got used to dead-eyed silence after asking a follow-up question trying to be nice. This communicating with Gen Z is bizarre. Also, I'm a TA, and it shocks me how the majority of Gen Z doesn't write their last names on their papers, exams, etc. Didn't even know that was an option in school. Their phone etiquette doesn't exist. They will call my work a business and not give their name. It goes like this. Me hello, local business here. Them breathing noises. Me hello, can I help you? Them yeah, I want to make a payment. Me okay, what's your name? Them huh. Me your account number will also work. Then annoyed sounds I don't know that shit. Me you don't know your name. Them know the account number. Me okay, then what is your name? Them Travis. Me Travis what motherfucker THERES thousands of people in MY system. Like pulling teeth every damn time. I'm an attorney and now there are a pretty good number of Gen Z lawyers and they just don't respond to anything. A few weeks ago I mentioned calling an opposing counsel to force a response and a younger coworker told me doing that was insane unless absolutely 100% necessary or literally court-ordered. I am a millennial and I hate phone calls too, but like damn. And don't get me started on gym etiquette law. I can't ask them a question without them thinking it's a direct negative criticism. Anyone want a coffee? No thanks. Not a fan of coffee, tea instead. What's it got to do with you if I like coffee or not? I made that up, but most answers are just as ridiculous. Edit folks, the coffee thing was just an example of common chit-chat and how Gen Z react, and thanks for proving my points with all your angry replies. P.S. Stop reading and assuming every sentence as an angry attack on you. It's not, at all. The anger is in your head. It's exactly what we're pointing out. I went on a date with a girl who just stared at me after I asked her questions. Like, longer than normal stare, sometimes accompanied by like a grin but holy shit dog. It was weird and off-putting. As a millennial with a lot of Gen Z coworkers, I don't get the memes. In our work group chat they'll post reaction GIFs and deep-fried memes that are completely incomprehensible to me. I don't understand what is being said or implied by them at all, but they seem to understand one another. I didn't get it either, but with a little extrapolation, it makes sense. These kids grew up when memes were already established. Millennials lived through the early formative years when cats had cheeseburgers and played the keyboard. But that's old hat now, virtually 20 years old. Gen Z never knew a time before memes. They grew jaded by them. They look at those old memes we loved the same way we millennials look upon boomer humor. So they need something above and beyond. Postmodern, maximal, shocking. So their memes are always taken to the extreme, often confusingly so, because that extreme is all that gets a reaction from them now. They use memes mostly for irony, absurdism, and as meta jokes unto themselves, not as the straightforward, here's a joke hahaha that we used them for. We've literally just taken the Darmok episode of Star Trek, TNG, and made it our communication medium just with memes. Homer backing into a shrub, Philip J. Fry, his eyes squinted, his thoughts unsure. A smiling boyfriend, his head turns, and the girlfriend looks askance. Edit reworded one that bugged me. Because badger mushroom and salad fingers were totally comprehensible to everyone. Conveniently forgetting Farquaplier are we. Yea, there are a ton of them, and I mean a ton. I'm chronically online and can't even keep up or really try. Some are really funny and creative, while others are just zero effort and stupid like the 67 BS. Regardless, every few days there's a new meme trend that picks up, which is why it's hard to keep up. Plus, unless it's a good meme literally everyone would understand, it is a bit cringe and silly to send them in work messages lol. It seems like they force themselves into a position where they don't get to enjoy anything earnestly for being called cringe. I think that's so sad. Like, come on babies, go live your lives. You don't get a second shot. Stop wasting your time acting cool. You aren't cool and you are just depriving yourselves of joy. This is the thing, earnestness and sincerity are cool, and I will go to my grave believing this. I am pretty sure this is just what young people do. I'm a millennial and absolutely went through a phase where excitement, genuine enjoyment were seen as deeply uncool. I think it's probably a phase that they'll grow out of. Well, on the other hand, back in the day we got to do stupid stuff and then laugh it of and have it forgotten. These days, there's instantly a video of it on the internet that never vanishes. No wonder they're anxious about these things. Constantly track each other while in a relationship through cell phones. That's just insane to me and feels like tech-based borderline personality disorder. I actually agree with this. I'm Gen Z and am in my first serious long-term relationship, and the number one difference I've noticed is that I'm not being tracked or monitored all the time like in my short-term relationships. I think it's an anxiety thing. Not even just in a relationship, but tracking friends' locations constantly. It's so strange to me. Yeah, fuck everything about this. Some of the stuff in this thread is just old people whining about the kids these days, but the normalization of constant surveillance is absolutely horrific. If you time traveled back to the post 9/11 days and told me that real-time GPS tracking would become a standard part of dating, I'd have gone to live in a Unabomber shack in the mountains. Reading all those NTA posts, and half of them are like, I checked their location, and it's not where they said they would be. I am like, why the fuck are you casually digitally stalking someone like it's no big deal? The older generations don't get that some of us are pushing 30, oldest Gen Z is 29, and we are not all 14-year-olds. I'm 25, I grew up with older parents and my siblings are way older than me. I like to think I got lucky and got a good mix of a millennial Gen Z childhood. We are not all stupid and brain-rotted, I promise. Lol, this is how us elder millennials felt. Welcome to the Elder Club. To be honest, most of the whole Gen Z is brain-rotted is a Reddit thing. I don't think I've ever heard a single person say that in real life, although I have heard real people talk about how repeated cuts to education have hurt Gen Z intellectually, which may be fair, but absolutely is not a fault to pin on Gen Z. I'm 37, dead center of the millennial range, and legitimately every single Gen Zer I know is bright and perfectly capable of engaging in intelligent conversations/activities. Hell, I know more millennials who are glued to TikTok brain rot reels than I do Gen Zers. Granted, I do know more millennials than I do Gen Z, but the point is legitimately most of the Gen Z trashing online, and in this thread, is the exact same kind of generational bashing that bad actors posted online about the millennials. Don't get me wrong, Gen Z certainly has its issues, but by and large they're far more nuanced than anything being posted in this thread. Dude, I felt that I'm 24, and I swear reading these comments all I can think is like, wow, it feels like I grabbed the last chopper out of Nam, in terms of all this weird shit not applying to me or my friend group. Dude, boomers still think we millennials are kids, and our oldest are pushing 45. This hits, I just turned 29 and am officially a Gen Z, but I don't feel like it at all if I read all the thimps Gen Z apparently does. I don't know WTF 67 means, I know how to be social, etc. Thank you very much for watching. Put likes, write comments, and wait for new videos on the channel.